Good morning, everybody. So I am Tony Chiu, the founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa, your Africa Clean Energy Champion. So we said that we're going to bring to you the best expert into the industry, making sure that they can deliver and pass on the knowledge that you need for you to jump into this career. So I have with me one of my very good friends, but also an expert who worked for, let's say, the biggest employer into the sector. And it's a pleasure for me to be able to welcome you, Belsham Besong. So how are you, my friend?
I'm doing quite well, Tony. And how are you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm excellent. Thanks for that. Thanks for asking. So, like I say, there are many people that will be watching this program and they will be curious to find out more about you. So if you are okay, we're just going to dive and go into some of these questions. So is it fine with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, that's fine. So, Belsham, I think just to give justice to your career, which is very rich, I'd like to know, can you please introduce yourself to our listening audience, please?
Yes, please. My name is Besong Belsham. I'm a Cameroonian and 31 years old. I live in Germany. I've been here since 14 years now. I moved to Germany when I was 17 years old, 2006. And since then, I have studied also in Germany. I studied business administration and later studied international relations. It wasn't a smooth ride because of the language barriers. So I first of all studied in German and later diverted in English because that's my main language. So I live in the southern part of Germany, that's Bavaria and Nuremberg to be specific.
Okay, excellent. I can say that definitely speaking English, speaking German, you're in a very good position actually, because Germany is very strong in the industry. And obviously English is the international language and also your main language. And I have to say, for people watching you, it's a specific pleasure for me because you are a compatriot. So
Yes.
I'm very, very happy to be able to bring you into this program. So Belsham, I wanted to ask you if you can go a little bit more deeper and share with people. So how did you get into the sector? So what was your journey?
Interesting, Tony. You know, I always tell people like sometimes you dream about some things, but sometimes some things come to you. I think this was more of something which came to me. While I was studying, I was looking for an internship. I had a friend of mine who was working for Ryzen Energy, and he just said, look, man, I have this opening. I would like you to apply. They're looking for interns. So I was like, yeah, I can. So I did this application. I had no background knowledge of energy market. I had no background knowledge of how solar works. I had some previous experiences with projects I had done, but nothing energy solar related. And when I applied, I was luckily chosen. It was just one position open. I started my intern, was like for 6 months. And, you know, they were quite impressed the way I handled stuffs and the fast understanding. So they offered me a job after my internship, which I was very pleased because I already fell in love. And one of the reasons why I fell in love with this industry was because I found a lot of opportunities in the industry, and it had a huge impact in the whole energy idea and energy in Africa. So while I started, I did my best, and that's how I found myself in Ryzen, because Ryzen is a big company. It's a manufacturer, it's a developer, and it's also an EPC company. So I had a lot of things I learned with the company, and I'm still in the process of learning because as a worker, you have different challenges every day. So that is how I found myself in Ryzen Energy.
Excellent, excellent. I can definitely see that you were a bright star and you were so shining that it could not let you go. So that's fine. So having said that, the way you've explained it, so people may be thinking that was like a smooth ride. But
No.
having been in the industry and knowing you as well for some time, I know it wasn't the case. So I'd like you to come back a little bit, if you don't mind, please, into
Mhm.
the some of the specific challenges you've gone through.
Yes, one of them was I mentioned I studied business administration and international relations. So this has nothing to do with engineering. This has absolutely nothing to do with physics or mathematics. I mean, there is some economics and social sciences. So one of my biggest challenges working with Ryzen was to understand the technicalities, watts, watt peak, kilowatts. So I basically had to go back to my conversion tables. I remember the last time I studied physics was in 2001 while I was in secondary school in Cameroon. So I literally had to go back to study physics and inform myself. So this knowledge was very important at this time, and I learned that nothing in life is useless. So take everything seriously your maths teacher or your physics teacher teaches you. So that is the biggest challenge I had. And when I understood it, I kept on learning because you get different technical words which you have to relate economically, like choosing maybe an inverter, you have 20 ampere or 350 watt peak. You have to understand how you put these things together. So I think that was the really, really big challenge working when I started my career.
And this is very good to hear, because the whole point of the master class that we renewables in Africa put together is to encourage more people to come into the sector because it's needed. And what we want to show, I think for me, I could be saying I may have been, let's say, in a slightly better position in the sense that I have an engineering degree, so I worked as an engineer before. So the knowledge, the technical knowledge, wasn't that much of a challenge for me. But one thing I realized talking to so many other developers, not just us, what we're doing, is that there is a room for everybody, and actually you could be coming from any other career. And that's what I like with you, Belsham, because you demonstrate that definitely, whether you are a lawyer, whether you are a finance professional, where I don't know, you are a doctor, you can do it. It's just about understanding what are the key element that you need to come to term with, and be ready to work hard and smart, and you can get there. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much for that, Belsham. One
You're
thing
very
that, yeah, go on. Sorry, you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that anyone can be a developer, anyone from any sector, because being a developer, you have to deal with issues of law, you have to deal with issues of finance, you have to deal with issues of economics, and you have to deal with issues of technical issues and stuff like that. So uh, it's always a plus when you have, let's say, three backgrounds or
Mhm.
you're experiencing three or four backgrounds. So do not restrict yourself because you feel, oh, I don't know maths or I don't know physics. There are a lot of challenges being a developer when it comes to understanding the local requirements, the regulations, and things like that, which you also need law and people advice on policy. So that's what I wanted to add to this experience or to this question.
Thank you very much for confirming that. So let me now ask you the last question of this first part, because obviously, as you know, so we're going to have a second part where we're talking a little bit more about the knowledge in the second video, for those of you who are interested going deeper into the program, the master class. Bersham, you and I, we are Africans. Yeah, we are Cameroonian, yes, but we are first Africans, and we are passionate about our continent. And one thing that we know as well is for Africa to also develop, I think it's superb to have support from external developers. We definitely still will need it, but it's also very important to have local and skills developer. So I'm convinced about that. You are convinced about that. But I want you to tell us, why do you believe it's important to have local developers? What would be your key argument there?
Yes, Tony. The first thing I want to say is the local developer is the backbone of every solar project. In what sense? First, communication. When a project is built, that's not the end of it.
Mm.
You need somebody on ground who has to make sure the community where this project is built or the region where this project is built understand the benefits of building a solar park. You need to communicate across stakeholders. You need someone who speaks the language of the people, to communicate with the government agencies, to communicate with the local community. I mean, to make sure things are right. First, local developers are the only people, based on the advantage they enjoy of being locals, to do this. Secondly, we do not want to be, let's say, on the bottom of the whole line, or let's say at the last part of the wagon. As a local developer or local developers, we also want to have a percentage, or we want to have an influence on projects which are built in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why I think it's very important for local developers to emerge, and also banks or firms should support local development, because at the end of the day, when you have too many international developers, their interest is no longer for Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Although they want to supply electricity, they're doing a good job. You have the tendency that most Africans are not involved in the industry, which takes out jobs, which takes out skills too. So I think it's very important to make sure that we are part of this whole industry in the development sector, and we can also contribute a lot on policy. Local developers can also advise the government on what is at stake, what they have to do to promote this industry. So local developers are not just developers, they are consultants, they are also advisors. So that is why, in my opinion, we need more Africans who can participate in bringing forth solar and making sure the continent has the energy it needs and requires.
That's a brilliant answer, Belsham. And like I say, I couldn't have said it any better. So thank you very much for this first part of our conversation. So the first video. As I say, we're going to have a second video, and I can't wait to get into it. But before that, allow me to give you and to give myself a little break, and we're going to see you in the second video. So for those of you who obviously have signed up for our program, as I said, the second video will be part of your course. And for those of you not coming and joining the masterclass, I am hoping you still have enjoyed the fantastic conversation we have had with Belsham Besong. You can definitely find him on the social media. And one thing I can tell you, he's a very close partner of us, and in a nutshell. So if you want to find out about him, you can always reach out to us at Renewables in Africa. So thank you very much for watching. And for those of you who continue, so I see you in the second video. So thank you very much, Belsham, and I'll speak to you soon.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.